Hey everyone, Social Coach Michael Knight here, and today what we're going to be talking about is why the ability to create human connections and form relationships is now more important than ever. Look around at the world. It's been getting a little bit crazy in recent years. A lot of people are losing security, a lot of uncertainty. We have seen mandates where maybe they shut down your small business and took away your livelihood. We have seen inflation erase people's savings. We have seen mandates where you can't even meet in public places anymore and people afraid to go even on an online Tinder date. You know, the world is changing very quickly. And one good thing that can come out of all this, if anything does, is some people are being reminded how important their personal relationships are and the people they're with. You know, because the quality of your life is mostly determined by the quality of people you're spending time with in your life. And having the ability to form those connections can be more valuable than anything else in the world. But before we cover how to do that, please remember to like and subscribe, since that'll be doing me a huge favor when it comes to helping me grow this channel. And also a big shout out and thanks to my Patreon subscribers. Please consider becoming one if you haven't already, and you'll get access to a bunch of bonus material and an online course I created on social skills. If you grew up in a Western country, lived a little bit of a privileged life, let's say, it could be hard to really understand this. But for example, my girlfriend grew up at the end of the Soviet Union when everything was collapsing. She watched everyone lose their jobs. She watched the inflation take her mother's life savings, and the value was decreasing so quickly that to try to save some value, they bought a VCR. They didn't even need a VCR. They only bought the VCR because they could sell it later and get at least something back while the money would be as good as toilet paper. A lot of things can be taken from you in life, and when they are, you kind of have to fall back on your connections to build something new. Having that ability to connect with people, having those people who have your back but are also high quality individuals who actually have the ability to potentially help you, or you can help them, these things are incredibly valuable. And it's not just that. It's like when I spent many years backpacking the world, making money online, living in almost 40 different countries, and I learned a lot. I've been to countries where people have very little. They have almost nothing compared to the United States. And like some of those people are living much happier lives than clients I've worked with that are on Wall Street and have more money than they know what to do with. Like the quality of your life is so much hooked into the relationships you're having. And when I was doing these travels around the world, a big part of it was I was alone, right? And I was having great adventures. But if I didn't have that social ability to meet new people in every city I went to and connect with them, I think I'd have been really lonely. Other than maybe the beautiful nature in some places or architecture, like I would have found really little enjoyment from it. All the enjoyment came from the connections with people I was making. Be able to go to a city and within a week even be dating a local girl there who could show me around, or making friends with some locals and going out drinking at the pub with them and hearing their stories about their lives and learning about their country. I mean, to me, there's nothing more valuable than those experiences, and that's all predicated on me having the ability to be able to start those conversations and connect with these new people. While the examples I just gave from my personal life are a little bit more of an extreme case, perhaps you don't want to travel the world, perhaps you're happy where you're at, but you just wish you had that ability to connect more with other people. How many people out there are simply afraid to switch their jobs because they're too afraid to go into a new environment? You know, there's even this famous story about Elon Musk. When he moved to Silicon Valley and he wanted to join Netscape. It was one of the first companies that made like a browser for the internet. And he printed out his resume, he went to the Netscape lobby, and he stood there for hours, simply too nervous to start a conversation with anyone. He would have probably been a great contributor to Netscape if he had worked there. Of course, things in the end worked out for him. But think about all those other people, or think about yourself. How many times were there other opportunities where you wanted that job or something, you wanted that advancement, but you're just too afraid and scared to start that simple conversation? Maybe you saw a beautiful woman and you wanted to ask her on a date, you wanted to get to know her, but again, you're just too scared to do it because you lack that ability. Think about what either of those outcomes could have been valued over a lifetime. It could be priceless. But again, it's all predicated on you being able to have that initial conversation. You having the comfort or courage to put your foot forward and know how to initiate the interaction that can lead to these other things occurring. And if you look at it like that, the actual value of simply investing in your social skills, whether alone or with a coach, makes a lot more sense. The small investment of investing in yourself now can snowball and grow to great returns in the future. A lot of social coaches nowadays, or other people who work in the area of social improvement, are sometimes under a lot of attack, and sometimes it's well justified depending on what type of program they run. But In general, what is the main reasons do you think are behind this? One thing is our culture is now moving away from the thought of self-improvement. Why? Because we're looking at now this new equality or equity culture, right? And why doesn't self-improvement line up with this new cultural movements? Well, if you improve yourself and you see an improvement from you, tomorrow you is better than today you, well, let's say that by definition, you're no longer equal to the person you were yesterday. You're better. And if everyone was supposed to be equal at one point in time, oh my God, does that mean you're better than other people? We can't have this, right? We can't have, everything needs to be flat. That's one side. And the other side, they'll argue, oh, you're being very manipulative. You're teaching manipulative techniques. You're just trying to get things from other people. And some coaches do that. That's not what I teach. I always say it like this. Imagine Arnold Schwarzenegger came up to you on Venice Beach one day when he was working out as a weightlifter there. He's like, oh, I have this terrible secret. I don't want it to get out. And you're like, oh, well, what is it, Arnold? He's like, you know all these muscles? You see all this strength? I wasn't born this way. I hired a coach and I worked in the gym for many years to become who I am. And you're like, oh my God, you manipulative son of a bitch. You lied to us all. Now, of course, you would never be that way, right? We know Arnold Schwarzenegger went to the gym. We know he had coaches. We know that's how he improved his muscles. And you know what actually even a crazier story about him is? I read his biography is he actually became a millionaire prior to ever making a movie. Like everyone thinks he became an actor and then became rich. He actually came to the United States. He worked as a bricklayer. He took the money he did from bricklaying, invested it in a small apartment complex, and then traded that for a bigger apartment complex. And that's how he made his first $1 million. And having that $1 million and having that wealth, that's what allowed him the ability to compete so much in weightlifting or in bodybuilding competitions, and which didn't pay much at all at the time, and also wait to get a movie part that he would think is iconic rather than taking any old movie part and maybe being typecast and having that ruin his later career. He could choose what he wanted to do because of that freedom he made from that initial small investments he made in himself, in this case in property, that allowed him to generate the wealth to build the life he wanted. And the same is true when it comes to investing in your social skills. If you choose to invest in your social skills now, the amount of opportunities you have in the future is going to multiply greatly, right? Like here you are right here, and this is how the opportunities will grow, right? Because success begets success, opportunity finds more opportunity, and it's going to grow this way. But when's it going to start? What's the nexus point? That point is, it's where you choose to make that first investment. It's from that point forward that exponential returns can occur. The great thing that comes with investing in yourself is that it's impossible to ever actualize a net loss. No one can take away from you, or you can never lose the value that comes with learning a new skill set. You're going to be able to bring that skill set forward only to acquire more things into your life. Think about all the times people invest in different things and the crazy amount of money they spend in time trying to simply make connections and relationships. You know, if you've ever been in a college or university that has fraternities and sororities, right? Why do people join these? They join them for the purpose of the connections, right? Someone's dad there is probably going to be able to give them a job when they graduate. Or they want to be able to do mixer events where they go to parties with certain sororities and frats so they can meet certain type of high quality men or women simply for that purpose, right? They're putting all the time and effort. They're doing those hazing events. They're doing this to try to join this simply to get those benefits. But what if I told you you could skip all that and there's a hack? What if you had the simple social skills to be able to meet those type of people, but on your own terms and in the environment that you choose? It's like the biggest life hack I have ever realized. You see all these people chasing money, chasing status, all for the gain and purpose of thinking that they're then good enough to meet another person, while those who simply improve their social skills from the start can skip all that and just move to the end and just start a conversation with that person and bring them into their lives. If you want to become successful in life, it often will result from the fact that either you can do things that other people simply can't do, or at least they can't do at the current moment, or you're willing to do things that other people won't do. Think about it. What would be a great high-paying job? You could become a quantum computer engineer at Google, right? Are there a lot of quantum computer engineers around? Not so many. So what's that example of? That's the simple example of you having a skill set that's in demand. You can do things that other people simply can't do. And what would be an example of the other side? Well, one thing could be a social skills coach, at least before COVID and we did a lot of in-person training. A lot of people, could they walk up to a stranger and start a conversation? Would they be willing to do that with a student and really show them in person how to do it? How many people could do that? Well, technically, anyone with a mouth and legs could go up and start a conversation with a stranger. How many people have the comfort and skill set to do it? Not that many. Many people simply won't do it. If you're at a party and you want to talk to the prettiest girl, how many people simply won't start a conversation with her? But in life, it's really, often it's not just one extreme, one or the other, like the two examples I gave. Think of it as like a Venn diagram, and that middle section is the golden section. That area where you have enough skills to do something that other people can't do, and you're also willing to do what other people simply won't do, and that's where opportunity often lies. And if you can get yourself into that golden area, you'll often find that there's very little competition. Think of it as all the guys who are on their dating apps just swiping, hoping for the best, and the guy who skips that whole process just by saying hello to someone in person and going on an instant date. And that's the type of thing I teach my clients how to do. I teach them the theory behind attraction and what makes you a better communicator and more attractive person to be around. I get rid of all the often unconscious, unattractive behaviors that they're demonstrating, and then also give them the ability to be able to go for what they want in life and start those interactions that are going to take them to the next level, whether it's in their personal life or career. And if this sounds of interest to you, then I highly recommend you check out my book. And if you're super serious about getting this area of your life handled, you're thinking, yeah, I've waited long enough. I want to put that investment in today, because the longer I wait, it's nothing's going to get better. But the sooner I start, the opportunities are going to multiply. In that case, I provide one-on-one coaching, and an application to this can be found linked to in the description below. That's all for today. Please remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, ciao.